Have you ever wondered if the mind holds the power to heal the body? Centuries ago, Siddhartha Gautama, the founder of Buddhism, shared a profound insight. Every human being is the author of their own health or disease. This truth forms the foundation of Buddhism's understanding, a belief that our thoughts, emotions, and intentions have a direct impact on our well-being. Today, we explore the transformative power of the mind through the journey of a man named Arun. Arun led a life that, from the outside, appeared to be the epitome of success. He had climbed the corporate ladder steadily, securing a stable and well-paying job in a prominent financial firm. His colleagues admired his work ethic, and his supervisors often praised him for his dedication and problem-solving skills. With his income, he was able to provide a comfortable lifestyle for his family, living in a spacious home, in a quiet neighborhood, driving a luxury car, and going on vacations to scenic destinations. His family was loving and supportive. His wife, Priya, was a compassionate and understanding partner, and they shared a deep bond built over years of companionship. They had two bright and cheerful children whose laughter filled their home, adding warmth and joy to his life. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. Arun had checked all the boxes that society often equates with happiness and fulfillment. However, beneath this polished exterior, Arun's reality was far from the picture of contentment it appeared to be. He was constantly plagued by an overwhelming sense of stress and anxiety. The demands of his job felt relentless. Each day was a race against time, filled with deadlines, high-stakes decisions, and pressure to outperform both his competitors and his past achievements. As he navigated through the maze of responsibilities at work, he often felt like he was treading water, struggling to keep his head above the flood of tasks and expectations. His mind was never at rest, always racing with thoughts of the next task or worry, even during moments that were supposed to be joyful and relaxing, like family dinners or weekends at home. The very achievements that were supposed to bring him pride now felt like burdens weighing him down, adding to the sense that he was caught in a never-ending cycle of stress. Over time, the mental strain began to take a toll on his physical health. Once energetic and enthusiastic, Arun now found himself struggling with chronic fatigue that left him feeling exhausted from the moment he woke up. His body, which had once been strong and capable, now ached with unexplained pains that seemed to travel from one part to another. His back, his shoulders, his legs. The tension in his muscles felt as though it was a permanent fixture, a physical manifestation of the stress and worry he carried. Simple tasks, like getting out of bed or going for a walk, became increasingly difficult, and he often felt drained, as if life itself had lost its vibrancy. The fatigue was not just physical, it was emotional and mental, creating a cloud of exhaustion that seemed to follow him wherever he went. Despite his best efforts to push through, Arun felt a growing sense of emptiness, a void that his professional achievements and material comforts could not fill. Seeking relief, Arun visited doctors and specialists, hoping for a solution that could alleviate his symptoms. He underwent a series of medical tests, each one resulting in vague conclusions or inconclusive results. Physicians prescribed medications, some to help with his pain, others to manage his anxiety. For a while, these provided temporary relief, but the effects were short-lived, and the side effects often added to his discomfort. He tried various therapies and treatments, from physiotherapy for his body aches to mindfulness apps designed to help with his stress. But nothing seemed to address the root cause of his suffering. It was as if his symptoms were the branches of a deeper issue that none of the treatments could reach. As the months turned into years, Arun felt increasingly trapped, as though he was living on autopilot, going through the motions of his daily life without ever finding a sense of real peace or fulfillment. The more he sought solutions, the more elusive they seemed to become. Arun's life, once filled with ambition and purpose, now felt like a maze with no exit. He began to question everything. Was this what life was meant to be? A constant battle against fatigue and stress, despite having all the material comforts one could wish for. The sense of emptiness gnawed at him, growing larger with each passing day. Even in moments when he was surrounded by loved ones, he felt a profound sense of isolation, as if he was the only one unable to connect to the joy and contentment that others seemed to experience so effortlessly. The cheerful laughter of his children, which once filled him with pride and happiness, now served as a painful reminder of the peace and fulfillment he longed for, but couldn't seem to find. Despite his best efforts, the gap between his outer world, the one that everyone saw, and his inner reality continued to widen. Arun found himself caught between maintaining the facade of success and confronting the turmoil that lay hidden beneath. The fatigue and pain that had initially come in waves now felt like a permanent state, dragging him down each day. Each doctor's visit, each new prescription, and each attempt at self-help seemed to add to his frustration, deepening the sense that something fundamental was missing from his life. It was as though he was missing the key to unlocking a true sense of well-being, and until he found it, he would remain trapped in a cycle of endless stress, pain, and discontent. One evening after another long, exhausting day filled with meetings, deadlines, and the constant hum of city life, Arun felt an overwhelming urge to escape. The walls of his apartment felt suffocating, the sounds of traffic and city lights too harsh for his already troubled mind. He decided to take a walk, letting his feet guide him without any destination in mind. As he wandered through the city, he found himself drawn to a quiet park, a small oasis tucked away from the bustling streets. The park, with its towering trees, the gentle rustle of leaves, and the soothing sound of a distant fountain, felt like a different world, one untouched by the chaos of modern life. Arun wandered deeper into the park, the cool breeze brushing against his face as he walked along a path surrounded by flowers and tall grasses swaying gently in the wind. He felt a slight sense of relief as the sounds of nature slowly replaced the noise of the city. The stillness was a stark contrast to the rush of his everyday life, and for the first time in a long while, he felt a flicker of calm. He found a bench beneath an old oak tree, its branches spreading wide as if offering shelter. Arun sat down, closing his eyes, and tried to focus on the sounds around him, the chirping of crickets, the distant rustle of leaves, the gentle murmur of the breeze. As he sat in silence, lost in his thoughts, he noticed an elderly monk walking slowly along the path, his pace unhurried, his movements graceful. The monk wore simple robes, and his eyes, though old, carried a twinkle of youthfulness, an energy that seemed untouched by time. Arun watched as the monk stopped near the bench and paused, as if sensing his presence. The monk's calm demeanor, his quiet smile, and the peaceful aura he seemed to radiate were magnetic. Arun felt compelled to speak to him, as if he had known him for a long time, even though they were strangers. "Good evening," Arun began, his voice soft and tentative. The monk turned, offering a warm smile and a nod of acknowledgement. Encouraged by the monk's welcoming gaze, Arun found himself opening up in a way he hadn't done with anyone else. He began to share his struggles, his constant stress, the anxiety that gripped him day and night, and the emptiness that had settled deep within his heart. He spoke of his efforts to find relief through work, through success, and through the many treatments and therapies he had tried, all of which had left him feeling even more lost. The monk listened intently, his expression one of deep empathy and understanding. When Arun finally fell silent, the monk nodded thoughtfully and said, "It looks like you carry many burdens, but have you ever considered that it is not life you need to control, but your own mind?" His words were gentle but powerful, cutting through the noise of Arun's thoughts like a clear bell. Arun stared at the monk, the simplicity of the statement leaving him momentarily speechless. The monk continued, "We spend so much time trying to control the world around us, our jobs, our relationships, our circumstances, believing that if we can just get everything right, we will find peace. But true peace does not come from outside, it comes from within. It is not the world that must be changed, but our way of seeing it." Arun felt a stirring inside him, a sense of curiosity he hadn't felt in years. "But how?" he asked. "How do I change my mind when it feels like everything around me is pulling me in different directions?" The monk smiled gently. "It starts with awareness. The mind is like a restless river, constantly flowing and changing direction. You cannot force it to be still, but you can learn to observe it, to understand its nature, and in time find peace within the current." The monk's words resonated with Arun, and for a moment he felt a glimpse of something beyond his struggles, a sense of hope. "I want to learn more," Arun said. "How do I begin?" The monk's eyes lit up with a twinkle. "Come to the temple tomorrow," he said. "There, we will begin the journey to understanding the mind." With that, the monk offered Arun a nod and continued his walk down the path, disappearing into the shadows of the trees. As Arun watched him leave, he felt a spark of hope that he hadn't felt in years. The monk's words lingered in his mind, echoing as he made his way back home, feeling lighter than he had in a long time. The idea that he didn't need to control everything, that the peace he sought might be found by looking inward, planted a seed of curiosity and wonder within him, a seed that he knew he needed to nurture. Intrigued by the monk's words, Arun couldn't shake off the sense that he had stumbled upon something significant, something that could change the course of his life. The next morning, he woke up with a sense of anticipation, feeling a pull to visit the temple the monk had mentioned. Leaving behind the familiar routines of his day, he set off on a journey that felt strangely new, yet deeply familiar. As he walked through the narrow, winding streets leading to the temple, he felt a growing sense of calm, as if each step was shedding a layer of the burdens he had been carrying. The temple, when he finally reached it, was a place of simple beauty. It stood surrounded by a lush garden, where the air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the sound of birds singing. The temple itself, with its carved wooden doors and gently swaying prayer flags, felt like a sanctuary, a place removed from the chaos of the city. Arun entered quietly, feeling a sense of reverence and awe. The elderly monk greeted him with a warm smile and invited him to sit on a cushion in the meditation hall. The hall was spacious and serene, with sunlight streaming through open windows, casting soft patterns of light and shadow across the floor. Arun felt a wave of tranquility wash over him, as if the temple's stillness had seeped into his very bones. The monk sat across from him and began to speak. He introduced Arun to the teachings of the Buddha, explaining that the Buddha's path was not just about spirituality, but about understanding the nature of the mind and transforming suffering into peace. The Buddha taught that our minds are not merely passive observers of life, the monk said, but active participants in shaping our reality. Our thoughts, emotions, and actions have power. They create the world we live in. Arun listened intently as the monk delved deeper into Buddhist philosophy, explaining the concept of samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Our actions and thoughts influence this cycle, the monk explained. Every thought you have, every action you take, leaves a mark. The mind is like a garden. It must be tended carefully. If you plant seeds of anger, fear, or desire, they grow into suffering. But if you cultivate seeds of peace, compassion, and understanding, they will flourish, transforming your life. The monk went on to describe how deeply interconnected the mind and body were. He explained that the stress and negativity Arun had been experiencing were not separate from his physical ailments. They were directly influencing his health. When the mind is in turmoil, the body reacts, the monk said. Anxiety and anger flood the body with chemicals that wear it down. Your fatigue, your pain, these are reflections of the storms within. Arun felt a sense of clarity as the monk spoke. For the first time, he began to see how his thoughts and emotions were not just fleeting, intangible experiences, but real forces shaping his health and well-being. The monk continued, teaching him that the practice of mindfulness was the first step towards reclaiming control over his mind and, in turn, his life. By becoming aware of your thoughts without judgment, you can begin to understand their patterns and let go of those that cause harm. The monk's words were like a light in the darkness, illuminating parts of Arun's life he had never truly seen before. He realized that his mind, which he had always seen as a burden filled with worries and fears, was actually a powerful tool, one that he could train and transform. The teachings felt like a map, showing him a path out of the maze of suffering he had been trapped in for so long. The monk invited him to stay for a meditation session where he would begin the process of calming and observing his mind. Arun felt both nervous and excited as he agreed. He knew this was the beginning of a journey that might change everything. The monk guided Arun through his first meditation session, leading him to sit comfortably on a cushion in the quiet temple hall. The monk's voice was gentle and steady as he instructed Arun to close his eyes and bring his awareness to the simple act of breathing. Feel the breath as it enters and leaves your body, he said. Notice the sensation of air passing through your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then leaving again. Arun did as he was told, but almost immediately his mind began to wander. Thoughts of work, family, and lingering worries crept in, pulling his attention away from his breath. Frustrated, he opened his eyes, but the monk smiled reassuringly. "This is natural," the monk explained. "The mind is like a restless monkey, always jumping from one branch to another. But with patience and practice, you can train it to stay still, even if only for a moment." The monk's words offered Arun comfort, and he closed his eyes again, returning to his breath. At first, it felt like a struggle, as if every breath was an effort against the tidal wave of thoughts that flooded his mind. But the monk's calm presence helped. He reminded Arun not to fight the thoughts, but to simply observe them and let them pass, like clouds drifting across the sky. "Do not cling to your thoughts," he said. "They are not you. They are just visitors passing through." Over the next few weeks, Arun returned to the temple daily, eager to learn and practice. In the beginning, his sessions felt like a battle. His body would ache from sitting still, and his mind would resist the silence, throwing memories, worries, and plans at him to distract him from the present moment. He often felt discouraged, questioning whether he could ever find the calm and clarity the monk spoke of. But as days turned into weeks, something began to shift. Arun noticed small moments, brief, fleeting, where his mind was quiet. The usual chatter faded, and in its place was a stillness he had never experienced before. It was subtle, like the gentle ripple of water on a pond, but it was there. In these moments, he felt a deep sense of peace, as if all the burdens he carried were lifted, even if only for an instant. Encouraged by these glimpses of tranquility, Arun committed even more deeply to his practice. The monk guided him to explore different forms of meditation. Walking meditation in the temple gardens, where each step was taken with intention and awareness, and body scan meditation, where he focused on each part of his body, releasing tension and connecting mindfully to the present. As Arun continued, he began to notice changes not only in his meditation sessions, but in his daily life. He felt less reactive, less burdened by stress, and more present with his family. The fatigue that once weighed heavily on him started to lift, and the pain that had been a constant companion began to ease. Each time he felt tension rise, he remembered the monk's words and returned to his breath, finding solace in the simplicity of the practice. What once felt like a struggle now felt like a refuge. The temple became his sanctuary, a place where he could connect with himself on a deeper level. Slowly, Arun's perception of life shifted. The things that once seemed overwhelming, the pressures of work, the responsibilities at home, no longer felt like burdens. He saw them for what they were, opportunities to practice mindfulness and presence. The monk's teachings, which once seemed abstract, now became the guiding principles of his life. With each passing day, Arun found longer moments of stillness in his meditations. The once restless monkey mind began to calm, and he discovered that, in these moments of silence, there was a sense of joy. A pure, uncomplicated feeling of being alive. It was a peace that he hadn't known was possible, and it began to fill not just his meditation sessions, but his entire life. The path ahead still required dedication and practice, but Arun felt for the first time that he was truly on the journey towards healing and understanding himself. Over time, Arun discovered a profound truth. His thoughts and emotions were not fixed or permanent. They were like clouds passing across the sky, ever changing, never the same for long. This realization came through his deepening practice of Vipassana, or insight meditation, which the monk had introduced to him as the next step in his journey. Vipassana required Arun to observe his thoughts and feelings without judgment or attachment, a skill that didn't come easily at first. Each session revealed layers of his habitual responses, patterns of stress, fear, and negativity that he had been carrying for years. At first, watching these thoughts felt overwhelming, like facing an uncontrollable storm within his mind. Memories from the past, anxieties about the future, and self-doubt surfaced with intensity. Arun often felt the urge to react, to engage with these thoughts, but the monk's teachings echoed in his mind. Observe, but do not grasp. See them for what they are, temporary and fleeting. Slowly, Arun began to practice detachment, watching his emotions rise and fall without becoming ensnared by them. He saw anger transform into sadness, and sadness into calm, each emotion shifting like waves on the ocean. As days turned into months, Arun noticed a remarkable transformation. The patterns that once felt like chains began to unravel. The stress that had knotted his body and mind started to loosen, and a clarity emerged, a clarity that revealed how deeply connected his mental and physical states were. Arun became aware of how his negative thoughts created tension in his muscles, how worry brought heaviness to his chest, and how anger sparked pain in his stomach. He saw these connections clearly for the first time, but more importantly, he noticed that when he let go of these thoughts, when he allowed them to pass without resistance, his body responded positively. The headaches that had plagued him for years started to fade, and the tightness in his shoulders eased. Even his breathing became deeper, more relaxed. It was as if his body was mirroring the peace he was cultivating in his mind. Vipassana taught him that he was not at the mercy of his thoughts. He could observe them and let them go, creating a ripple effect of healing throughout his entire being. Yet Arun's journey of transformation didn't end in the quiet meditation hall. The monk, seeing Arun's progress, began to teach him the art of mindfulness, bringing awareness to each moment, not just during meditation, but in every action of daily life. Arun learned to be present as he ate, truly tasting each bite and appreciating the food before him. He practiced mindful walking, feeling the ground beneath his feet and the rhythm of his steps, connecting with each moment as it unfolded. Even at work, he applied this mindfulness, focusing on the task at hand rather than worrying about the next deadline or rehashing past mistakes. This practice of mindfulness became a gateway for Arun to experience life in a new way. He started to let go of the constant chatter in his mind about what he should have done differently or what he feared might happen. Each time his thoughts tried to pull him into the past or the future, he returned to his breath, anchoring himself in the present moment. Slowly but surely, his perception of life began to shift. What once felt like a heavy burden, the endless responsibilities and worries, now felt lighter. He found himself laughing more with his family, enjoying the simple pleasures of a cup of tea, or feeling gratitude for the warmth of the sun on his skin. As he shed the invisible weight of his worries, something remarkable happened. His chronic fatigue, which had been a constant presence in his life, began to dissipate. The exhaustion that once drained his energy transformed into a sense of lightness and vitality. Arun felt as if he were finally stepping out of a dark shadow and into the light of a new day. His body, once weighed down by the burdens of the mind, now felt energized and alive. This new way of living didn't just change how Arun felt physically, it transformed his entire outlook on life. He saw challenges not as sources of stress, but as opportunities to practice presence and acceptance. Every day he continued his meditation and mindfulness practices, knowing that each moment he spent cultivating awareness was a step toward greater freedom and peace. With each breath, he felt himself growing, healing, and embracing life with a renewed sense of purpose and joy. The monk also introduced Arun to a practice called loving-kindness meditation, or metta, a cornerstone of Buddhist compassion training. In these sessions, Arun was taught to repeat simple phrases beginning with, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I live with ease." The monk encouraged him to focus these affirmations first on himself, cultivating a sense of self-compassion and acceptance that had been foreign to him for so long. At first, Arun struggled with the practice. Extending kindness toward himself felt strange, and the idea of extending those same wishes to others, especially those who had hurt or disappointed him, seemed nearly impossible. His heart was heavy with unresolved anger, and the scars of past grievances weighed on him. Despite these initial challenges, Arun continued the practice, repeating the phrases daily with as much sincerity as he could muster. Weeks turned into months, and slowly he noticed a shift in his perspective. As he repeated, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I live with ease," he began to genuinely feel the warmth of these wishes. When the monk guided him to extend these sentiments beyond himself, first to loved ones, then to neutral people, and finally to those he felt resentment towards, Arun felt a deep resistance, like hitting a wall within himself. But with persistence and the monk's gentle encouragement, he began to visualize these individuals in his mind's eye, and he repeated, "May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live with ease." Over time, a profound transformation took place. The anger and bitterness he had held onto for so long started to dissolve. He felt a new sense of lightness, as if releasing these negative emotions had unburdened his soul. Arun realized that forgiveness wasn't about excusing the past or condoning wrongs. It was about freeing himself from the chains that had kept him stuck in suffering. The more he practiced, the more empathy and compassion he felt, even toward those who had wronged him. With this release, the physical tightness he often felt in his chest and shoulders began to fade. His body, once tense and filled with pain, started to soften and feel at ease. The transformation didn't stop there. The monk encouraged Arun to embrace the community aspect of his practice, inviting him to participate in group meditation sessions at the temple. Initially, Arun felt nervous, unsure if he belonged in such a sacred space among seasoned practitioners. But as he joined these sessions, sitting quietly among others who shared similar struggles and aspirations, he felt a sense of belonging he hadn't experienced before. Sharing his own experiences and listening to the stories of others opened his heart even further. He realized that he was not alone. His journey of healing was mirrored in those around him. These group meditations became a powerful experience for Arun. The collective energy of the group amplified each member's practice, creating a sense of unity that transcended individual efforts. The monk explained that when people meditate together, their energies merge, often helping each person to reach a deeper state of tranquility than they might achieve alone. Arun felt this deeply. Moments of clarity and peace during group sessions were more profound and lasting. The support system that developed among the group strengthened his commitment, showing him that healing was not only an individual pursuit, but also a communal one. He saw firsthand the power of shared intention, the way collective focus could elevate his own practice and deepen his sense of peace. As Arun's understanding deepened, the monk shared more teachings about the intricate connection between the mind and body. He explained that negative mental states like stress, anger, and fear could act as toxins in the body, disrupting the natural flow of energy and leading to physical ailments. Chronic stress, he explained, weakens the immune system, leaving the body vulnerable to disease, while emotions like resentment or hatred can manifest as chronic pain or digestive issues. Arun began to recognize how his own past patterns of worry and resentment had taken a toll on his health. He recalled the years of fatigue, the lingering aches that no doctor could fully explain, and he saw clearly how these were not isolated symptoms, but manifestations of his inner turmoil. Conversely, the monk taught, cultivating positive mental states such as gratitude, compassion, and peace could have the opposite effect, enhancing one's well-being and even promoting physical healing. Practices like metta-meditation, gratitude journaling, and mindfulness were not just spiritual exercises. They were practical, scientifically supported tools for improving health. The more Arun practiced these methods, the more he felt their effects. As he focused on gratitude, he felt his energy increase. As he practiced mindfulness, his focus sharpened, and the clarity of his thoughts became more consistent. Arun began to see that the teachings of the Buddha were not distant spiritual ideals, but practical guidelines for a healthier, happier life. With this new understanding, Arun integrated these practices into every aspect of his life. He made gratitude a daily habit, beginning and ending each day by listing things he was thankful for, from the sunlight filtering through the trees to the simple meal on his plate. The more he practiced, the more he realized how much there was to be grateful for, and this sense of abundance filled his days with joy. Arun also started to approach challenges at work with mindfulness, noticing how his reactions to stress had changed. What once would have triggered anxiety now became opportunities to practice calm and presence. Each time he felt the familiar tension rising, he returned to his breath, grounding himself in the present moment. The physical changes were undeniable. Arun's sleep improved, his chronic fatigue lifted, and he felt his body regain the vitality it had once known. The headaches that had plagued him disappeared, and even his digestion improved as the knots of worry untangled themselves. Every day he felt himself growing healthier and happier, a living testament to the mind-body connection the monk had taught him about. Through these practices, Arun's life transformed. He no longer felt like he was merely surviving each day. He felt truly alive, connected to himself, others, and the world around him. His healing journey became a path of ongoing discovery, one that revealed deeper layers of peace and wisdom with every step he took. He saw that the true essence of the teachings was not to escape suffering, but to transform it, using each moment as an opportunity to grow and find freedom. And with every breath, he felt himself aligning more with the truth of his own being, a place of calm, strength, and infinite possibility. The monk also guided Arun through a variety of powerful techniques, one of which was visualization meditation. During these sessions, Arun was encouraged to close his eyes and imagine a warm, golden light enveloping his body, flowing from the top of his head to the tips of his toes. He visualized this light bathing every part of his body, particularly areas of pain and tension, bringing warmth, comfort, and healing. At first, it felt like a simple exercise, but as Arun practiced it daily, he noticed a profound shift. The light, which started as a mere image in his mind, began to feel real. He felt its warmth spread through his muscles, and the tension that once gripped his shoulders and back gradually eased. As he deepened his practice, he harnessed the power of his mind to direct this golden light toward any discomfort he experienced. Over time, he noticed that the aches and pains that had troubled him for years significantly diminished. The visualization practice became a powerful tool for Arun, showing him how his mind could influence his physical state. Physical practices also became a critical part of Arun's transformation. The monk introduced him to Tai Chi and yoga, ancient forms of moving meditation designed to create harmony between body and mind. In the beginning, Arun struggled with the slow, deliberate movements of Tai Chi, finding it challenging to balance his focus on each motion and maintain a sense of calm. However, as he persisted, he discovered a rhythm that resonated with him. He felt the flow of energy or qi moving through his body as he shifted between postures. Each movement became an opportunity to connect with his breath, and as he synchronized his breath with his actions, he felt a sense of unity he had never experienced before. Yoga, too, became a means for him to connect his physical and mental realms. Through each pose, he learned to balance strength with softness, effort with relaxation. These practices were no longer just exercises for fitness, they were meditative rituals that allowed him to explore the balance within himself. As a result, he felt his energy flow more freely, and his body, once sluggish, was now revitalized with a newfound vitality and flexibility. Another essential practice that Arun integrated into his daily life was mindful eating. The monk emphasized that eating should be a conscious act, a moment to connect with the nourishment that sustains us. Arun began to slow down during meals, truly savoring each bite. He noticed the colors, the textures, the smells, and the flavors of his food, as if experiencing them for the first time. He thought about where each ingredient came from, the hands that prepared it, and the journey it took to reach his plate. This practice of mindfulness transformed the simple act of eating into a deeply spiritual and sensory experience. By fully engaging in each meal, he developed a sense of gratitude for the food that nourished his body, and he became more aware of the choices he made. No longer rushing through meals or eating out of habit, Arun found himself naturally gravitating toward healthier, more balanced options. This conscious approach to eating not only nourished his body, but also nurtured his mind, reducing his stress around food and fostering a sense of appreciation for the interconnectedness of life. The monk also taught Arun the transformative power of positive thinking and gratitude. Arun began incorporating these practices into his daily routine. Each morning, he set aside a few quiet moments to list 3 things he was grateful for, small things, like the warmth of the sun on his skin or the sound of birds chirping outside his window. These small acts of gratitude shifted his perspective. Instead of focusing on what he lacked, he began to see the abundance in his life, however simple it might be. In the evenings, he practiced positive affirmations, repeating phrases like, "I am healthy, I am at peace, and I am enough." These affirmations, when repeated daily, helped rewire his mindset. Over time, his focus on abundance rather than scarcity led him to a place of deeper contentment. The shift from stress and worry to gratitude and positivity had a profound impact, not just on his mind, but also on his body. Arun's immune function improved, his energy levels rose, and he felt physically and emotionally more resilient. This newfound positive outlook helped him recover more effectively from minor illnesses and maintain a stable sense of well-being. Throughout his journey, Arun encountered challenges that tested his commitment to these new practices. There were moments when stress and old habits crept back in, making him doubt the path he had chosen. Yet each time he faced these obstacles, the monk's teachings provided him with a new perspective. The monk reminded him that pain, difficulty, and discomfort were inevitable parts of life. The key was not to avoid them, but to change his relationship with them. With this understanding, Arun saw these challenges as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks. He learned that the moments of struggle were when he could deepen his practice the most. To manage stress and regulate his emotions, Arun incorporated breathing exercises into his daily routine. He practiced diaphragmatic breathing, which involved taking slow, deep breaths, filling his lungs completely before releasing the air with gentle exhalations. At first, it felt awkward, but soon he noticed how his body and mind responded. This simple act of conscious breathing helped him create a calm space within himself, one he could return to whenever anxiety threatened to overwhelm him. He also learned alternate nostril breathing, a technique designed to balance the body's energy and calm the mind. By closing one nostril and breathing through the other in a rhythmic pattern, Arun found that he could quickly center himself, even during moments of intense stress. These techniques not only provided immediate relief, but also improved his overall sleep quality. Nights that were once filled with restless thoughts became opportunities for deep, restorative sleep. Arun's commitment to these practices transformed his life. He no longer saw himself as a victim of stress or circumstances, but as an active participant in his own well-being. His journey was not just about alleviating pain or finding fleeting moments of peace. It was about discovering a way of living that allowed him to navigate the ups and downs of life with grace. The practices he learned, visualization, Tai Chi, yoga, mindful eating, and breathing techniques, became lifelong tools he could rely on. With each day, he felt himself becoming more resilient, more at ease, and more connected to the world around him. Arun's journey was a testament to the power of Buddhist teachings and the incredible capacity of the mind and body to heal when guided with intention and mindfulness. As Arun's practice deepened, he began to integrate visualization techniques more profoundly into his daily life. Each morning he would sit quietly, close his eyes, and imagine his immune cells as vigilant, powerful warriors patrolling his body. He visualized them moving with strength and purpose, seeking out and eliminating any threats, healing areas of discomfort, and strengthening his immune response. This vivid imagery empowered him, making him feel in control of his health in a way he had never felt before. He also began to visualize peaceful scenes whenever stress or anxiety crept into his mind. Sometimes it was the image of a quiet beach, where the gentle waves met the shore, the sun casting a warm glow over the sand. Other times it was the vision of a serene forest, where tall trees swayed softly in the breeze, and the sound of birds singing created a soothing, natural melody. These visualizations became his refuge, a place he could return to in moments of tension, allowing him to maintain a state of calm and balance. Over time, these practices not only provided him with immediate relief, but also significantly supported his overall health, as his body responded positively to the calming influence of his mind. Understanding the impact of modern distractions on his well-being, Arun also embraced the practice of a digital detox. He realized that the constant use of electronic devices was overstimulating his mind and disrupting his natural rhythms. Determined to create a healthier routine, he set a strict boundary: No screens an hour before bed. Instead of scrolling through his phone or watching television, he spent this time in quiet reflection or reading a book. Some nights he practiced gentle stretching or breathing exercises to prepare his body for sleep. By aligning himself with the natural rhythms of the day, allowing darkness and stillness to signal the transition into rest, he noticed profound changes. His sleep, once restless and interrupted, became deeper and more restorative. His energy levels improved, and he woke up feeling refreshed and ready to start each new day with a clear and focused mind. As the months went by, Arun's entire life began to transform in ways he never imagined possible. The chronic stress and pain that had once weighed heavily on him faded into the background, replaced by a deep sense of peace, clarity, and purpose. He no longer felt like a passive victim of his circumstances. Instead, he saw himself as an empowered individual, capable of shaping his own reality. The teachings of Buddhism had become a guiding light, illuminating the path toward true well-being. By cultivating mindfulness, Arun learned to live in the present moment, free from the burdens of the past and the anxieties of the future. He practiced compassion, not just towards others but also towards himself, recognizing that self-care was a vital part of his healing journey. The practice of loving-kindness meditation helped him develop a sense of empathy that extended beyond his own circle, deepening his connection with the world around him. This expanded sense of compassion gave his life new meaning and purpose. Positive thinking also played a crucial role in reshaping Arun's mindset. By focusing on gratitude, affirmations, and visualizations, he shifted his narrative from one of stress and limitation to one of abundance and possibility. His mind, once a battleground of worry and negativity, became a garden of peaceful thoughts and uplifting emotions. This transformation in his mental landscape led to tangible changes in his physical health. His immune system, once compromised by chronic stress, became robust and resilient. His energy levels soared, and he found himself more engaged, productive, and joyful in every aspect of his life. Arun's journey taught him that healing was not a quick fix or a temporary solution, but a lifelong practice. It was about nurturing the mind, body, and spirit with equal care, ensuring that each aspect of his being was aligned and in harmony. He learned that the practices he had adopted, meditation, visualization, physical movement, mindful eating, and gratitude, were not separate techniques but interconnected parts of a holistic approach to well-being. Each practice supported the other, creating a foundation of health that was sustainable and fulfilling. In the end, Arun realized that the teachings of Buddhism had guided him back to himself. He had not found peace outside of himself or through external means, but within the depths of his own mind and heart. His journey was not about becoming someone new, but about uncovering the wisdom and strength that had always been within him. By embracing the path of mindfulness, compassion, and positive thinking, he had not only transformed his health, but also reshaped the entire narrative of his life, finding a deep sense of fulfillment and joy in the simple, present moment. Arun realized that the journey wasn't about reaching a final destination, but about embracing each moment with openness and acceptance. He came to understand that life is not a linear path, but a continuous flow of experiences, some joyful, some challenging. Through the transformative practices he had learned, meditation, mindfulness, loving kindness, and visualization, he discovered a way to shift his perspective, turning what once felt like burdens into opportunities for growth. His life, which had been dominated by struggle and stress, slowly became a tapestry of balance and harmony. Every day, Arun woke up with a sense of gratitude, knowing that each moment was a chance to practice, to learn, and to deepen his understanding of himself and the world around him. As Arun continues to walk this path, he embraces the understanding that healing is not a one-time event, but an ongoing, evolving journey. It requires patience, the discipline to practice consistently, and the courage to look within, even when faced with discomfort. There are days when he feels challenged, when old patterns of stress and anxiety try to resurface, but he now possesses the tools to navigate these moments with grace. He returns to his breath, to the present moment, allowing himself to observe these feelings without judgment. This practice, he realizes, is a lifelong commitment to himself, a promise to continue nurturing his mind, body, and spirit. Arun's story serves as a powerful reminder that the power to heal and thrive exists within each of us. It is not something external or unattainable. It is a force waiting to be unlocked by our own intention and practice. The teachings of Buddhism offer a pathway, guiding us to recognize that our mind is not merely a passive observer, but an active participant in shaping our reality. By transforming our thoughts, we hold the power to transform our lives, cultivating not only physical health, but also a profound sense of inner well-being and fulfillment. The journey starts with a single breath, a step toward understanding the deep and intrinsic connection between mind, body, and spirit. As Arun continues to breathe with awareness, he knows that every inhale and exhale is a step forward on the path of self-discovery and healing. He understands now that every moment is an opportunity to transform, to let go of what no longer serves him, and to embrace the infinite potential that lies within. With each breath, he moves closer to the truth that peace, health, and happiness are not distant goals but states of being that he can cultivate within himself, moment by moment. Arun's story shows that while life may be filled with challenges, it is also full of the potential for transformation. The practices of mindfulness, compassion, and meditation are the keys to unlocking this potential, allowing us to navigate life with a sense of purpose, balance, and joy. As he walks forward, Arun knows that he is not alone. He is part of a vast and timeless tradition that has guided countless others toward a life of peace and fulfillment. The journey, he realizes, is the destination itself, an ongoing dance between the mind, body, and spirit, leading him ever closer to a state of unity, harmony, and inner peace.